Okay, hi y'all, I'm back. Sorry it's so dark. I haven't turned this light on. I just got back and I just shoved the pies into the oven. Like I said, for the first 15 minutes, you want to bake them at 425 degrees. And then for the next 35 to 40 minutes, you want to drop the temperature down to 350. And you want to bake them for about 35 to 40 minutes until you can insert a toothpick or a knife tip and it comes out clean. Then you put them on a cooling rack and allow them to completely cool down. So that's going to wrap up today's video. I will show you the pumpkin pies when they come out of the oven. Stay tuned. Okay, I'm back. The pies are in the oven. They've got 23 more minutes to go. But what I'm going to actually start doing is I'm going to get the stuff I need ready for the stuffing tomorrow. And that's, I'm going to chop one large onion. Now, depending on how big of a turkey you're doing, will determine how many onions you do. Anything over 25 pounds, you definitely want to do 2 to 3 onions. And you want to coarsely chop them or chop them fine. It depends on how you want the onions in the stuffing. Now, the celery should be in chunks, but not too thick of a chunk. And I'm moving you guys to the table right now because I actually have a cigarette going over here. I just finished dinner, so excuse me if I puff for a minute while I'm on camera. And Shadow pretty much ate tonight. She ate her food, and I gave her a little bit of pain medicine. And of course, I forgot to ask the doctor how you can tell if a dog is in pain. That's not showing signs that she's in pain. Okay, so doing stuffing is up to you. Doing my stuffing, you can use a white or a yellow onion. It's personal preference. I don't suggest you using a red onion, however. Red onions are more eaten raw or for sandwiches or salads than they are for cooking. And of course, I took the wrong end of the onion off. I left the bearded end instead of the hair. So I'm just peeling my onion. And you want to make sure you remove all of the thick, hard peelings. You don't want any of those in your stuffing. And you can do this up to 2 to 3 days ahead of time for your own stuffings. And I'm sorry, you're seeing the pie thing, and I'm going to actually dry that really fast and hopefully not break my tools in the process. Because those are a beloved gift from my beloved husband. He gave me those about, God, I don't know how long ago he gave them to me, actually. It might be 4 years, it might be 5. So I'm going to angle you guys down so you can see this. Sorry, I did dishes, so there's a little bit dishes. Actually, you know what? Before we get into that, I'm going to finish my cigarette. Now, you might be asking, what time do you want to start things? And being that tomorrow is a Wednesday, I'm going to actually pretend that tomorrow is the actual Thursday holiday, and I'll tell you guys when you want to start stuff the next day. And the thing that you really want to keep in mind is how big of a turkey you're actually doing. Are you doing it in the oven or are you doing it on the grill? And are you doing it stuffed or unstuffed? An unstuffed turkey will take a lot less time than a stuffed turkey will. So you figure for a 10 to 12 pound stuffed bird, you're going to figure about 3 to 3.5 hours For anything up to about 22 pounds, 23 pounds, you're going to figure 4 to 5 hours. And anything over 21 pounds to 28, you're going to keep adding at least an hour. So the first thing you want to do for the holiday is you want to start sauteing your onions, your celery, and butter. Now, how much butter are you going to use? You're going to use 1.5 sticks of butter for your stuffing. And you can do stuffing so many different ways. You can use stale bread or day-old bread. You can use the pre-made stuffing, and that's kind of what I'm doing. Although I'm going to add a little bit of sourdough to it. But I like to use the Pepperidge Farm sage and onion flavored stuffing, and you don't have to do a lot to it. Just add a little bit of sage, and I have fresh sage that's still drying out in the pantry over there, and we're going to use that tomorrow in our stuffing. You might be wondering why I'm not doing taking it to my kids. Well, she's going to supply all of that stuff. So I'm just kind of dicing my onions. And like I said, how many onions you want to do, that's a personal preference. I like to do at least one large onion. Sometimes I do white onions, sometimes I do yellow. I'm saving one of my yellow onions, though, for the giblet gravy that we're going to have with the turkey tomorrow. And it's a really, really good turkey dressing. You might see me moving back and forth. It's because my cigarette's still going. One other thing I forgot to mention is the Monday or Tuesday before the holiday, as you're getting stuff prepared and ready, don't forget about your guests and what alcohols you're serving. Make sure you have a couple of bottles of alcohol on hand, but also make sure that all of your mixers, like your 7-Ups, your cranberry juice, all of that stuff is fresh and hasn't been sitting in your house for months on end. A lot of times what happens in our house is we buy it and we forget to use it and it goes bad after a month. There are some things that are more of a staple in our house. Now, I love this Lock and Lock that I got from, I think I got it from QVC quite a few years ago. But I love to store the celery and the onions in this. And the medium one will hold my onions. The large one will hold my celery. And how many stalks of celery do you want to do? Well, it depends on, again, how much celery you want to put in your turkey, and how big of a bird you have. Now, I do my stuffing 2 different ways. I do my turkey stuffed, but then I also do a casserole for those that don't like having stuffing out of the bird, and that's personal preference. And if you're worried about the stuffing and the bird, don't. You just need to monitor the internal temperature. When the internal temperature of the turkey is 165 degrees in the center of the stuffing, then your turkey is ready. Always check with your instant read thermometer or a good kitchen thermometer in the bird. The breast part is what you want to make sure is 165. The rest of the bird should be about 1 180, I think, 185. Although that seems a little bit weird or low. But it's 165 for the breast meat to know that your turkey is fully cooked. And I will promise you tomorrow, I will be filming a good chunk of it. So, sorry I put out my cigarettes. So I've got all of my onion chopped. I'm going to turn you guys down. And I've got 13 minutes on my timer, so I should have just enough time to do the celery. I was going to have my husband help, but I'm grabbing the celery out of the refrigerator right now. Ooh, and this celery went limp. So you want to make sure that this celery really went limp. Wow. I should have probably wrapped the paper towel in it, but it'll be okay. Make sure you wash your celery really well with cool water. And then what I do is I always trim the tops off. And of course, you know, the mouthpiece is going to be barking because the mouthpiece is used to being upstairs with me around this time, and he's making it adamant that he's not up there with me and that I'm down in the kitchen, and he doesn't like that. So if you hear the mouthpiece bark, that's why. Now, his real name, of course, is not the mouthpiece. So, like I said, how big of a chunk you want to do? I usually go for about that. Sometimes I'll go a little bit smaller. It's kind of personal preference. You don't want to go too small and you don't want to go too big. So I would say for stuffing, that's perfect size. I'll put it down so you guys can actually see it. And we're just going to do since this celery is kind of limpy, I'm just going to do all of this celery. Now, my husband did buy Bloody Mary mix, so he might want a stack or two for his Bloody Mary. So I'll leave him maybe a couple of pieces. And if you have any really big chunks, just make sure you cut them. I'm going to get another lock and lock. So I'm going to move you guys. I'm going to move you guys over here, and I'm going to move you guys up. So pardon me 1 second. You guys are going to be up. And like I said, you want a large, either round or something to store your celery in. You can also put your celery in a Ziploc storage bag if you need to. But you need to be careful if you do your celery several days ahead, because it will start to get rank and start to rot on you if you put it in a bag versus one of these. Since I'm doing the turkey tomorrow, this can sit overnight in the refrigerator and it'll be perfectly fine. Now, I bought the celery not that many days ago. And I'm just going to do 3 more. So I'm going to leave my husband this for tomorrow. I'm also going to reserve a little bit of celery for the giblet gravy base. And it's so nice to get this prep work out of the way the night before, or even a couple of days before, because then you're not doing it the morning of, where you can actually sit down and enjoy a cup of coffee. Now, I'm shooting dinner tomorrow night at about 6 o'clock, and it's about 5.5 to 6 hours for the stuffed bird based on the size that I bought. So I need to have my turkey in no later than 12:30. So all of my celery has been cut. Put that over there. And I got all my celery right here. So now all we're going to do is put the lid on it, and then our celery and our onions now can go in the refrigerator, and they'll be all ready for morning. Now, the night before Thanksgiving, so the Wednesday before, and I'm going to do this tonight, you're going to want to take out at least 2 pounds of butter. Now, you can do it one of two ways. You can keep the butter in the refrigerator and just cut it in the morning and put it on your bird before your bird goes in the oven. Or you can soften it overnight and then brush your turkey, and then all you have to do is baste your turkey every 30 minutes. Now, I told you tomorrow we're going to be injecting the bird. And that's exactly what we're going to do tomorrow. Oh, and I have strawberries that are going bad in the refrigerator, but I'll get those out tomorrow night. My husband said throw them out now, so that's what I will do. Okay. So I've got 7 minutes left on the timer for the pies, and I need to bring out a rack. It's very important to cool your pumpkin pies on a wire rack. And you want them to be fully cooled. It usually takes about 2 hours for the pies to fully cool before they can be put in the refrigerator. So you definitely want to make sure you do that. I'm a little bit late, but my husband and I don't go to bed that early at night. Well, I don't especially. So at about maybe 10:30, they'll be ready. Sorry, Bella. So I'm hoping that this helps you guys with your meal preparation for the big day, and that you don't have a lot of excess work. Now by now, if today was the Wednesday before, you should be able to relax, and tomorrow is going to be the big day for you guys. So I'll be back in 6 minutes and let you know how the pies are going, so stay tuned. Okay, I'm back. I've got a little less than 4 minutes, but I thought we would talk about what kind of drinks to serve with your Thanksgiving Day meal. Well, wine is traditionally served. You can also do champagnes with the actual meal. I'm going to do a nice white wine with the meal, with the turkey, but what kind of cocktails should you serve your guests? Well, very popular ones are Tanqueray and tonic, gin and tonic. There's vodka and cranberry. What else am I missing, dear? My husband is more the knowledgeable one. Martinis are really popular, but you need vermouth for that.
What do you, I don't know what you're talking about.
For cocktails, simple cocktails. Rum and Coke.
Cranberry and...
I said cranberry and vodka.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Those are probably your basics, other than going into bourbons and getting more fancy of doing like a southern, a Manhattan or an old fashioned. But I always make sure I have a good selection of cocktails, and you guys know how much alcohol this house has. It has a lot of alcohol in it. So I thought I would do one of my favorite drinks tonight and kind of show you how it is made. And I'm going to do a vodka gimlet. Now, for a vodka gimlet, you're going to want a Not, this isn't a highball. Bob, what's this one?
Rocks.
Oh, a rocks glass. You're going to want a rocks glass. Sorry, I had to ask my husband because it's been a long time since I've learned the proper terminology of... Excuse me, I'm sneezing at all the wrong opportunities. What the different one is. The smaller glasses like this are rocks glasses. The taller, skinnier ones are your highball glasses. Oh. Wrong one. Nope, wrong one. Right one. So for this particular drink, you need rosés, lime juice, and vodka. Now I'm partial to Kettle One. There are tons and tons and tons of vodkas out there. So it's a personal preference what your favorite beverage or what your favorite vodka is. And I'm going to make this in a few minutes. My pie is about to beep, and I have a funny feeling that it's going to have to go in longer. And I wish I had my damn paring knife, because I really missed that, and I really don't know where the hell I put it. So I'm just going to have to get a regular knife out. And where are my pot holders? Oh, and I can tell these are going to have to go longer. They're still jiggly. Oh yeah, these have to go a lot longer. If they don't come out clean like this, they definitely need to go longer. And that's the top one, and the bottom one is still a little bit jiggly too. Yeah, they both need to go in longer. And based on what I'm seeing, they need to go in for probably at least another 12 minutes. So let's get cocktails going. Now you might ask why my husband is not having one tonight. Well, my husband is not a huge drinker. He may have one tomorrow night with company. And we're just going to fill our glass with ice. And I'm actually going to do this the proper way. I'm going to use a measuring cup. And it's personal preference. It's usually for me. It's two jiggers if I don't pour it all over the countertop. And then it's just as much lime juice as you want. And that was probably maybe a little bit more than a half of an ounce. And then you can serve this with a lime. You can serve it with... I'm partial to olives. I love having 2 olives in it. Every bartender I've ever met said that I'm doing it wrong and that's not how they would serve it. That's just the way I happen to have grown up with my father drinking this drink. This was one of his favorite drinks to drink. And I think I saw olives on top. I did. Let's see if these... Oh yeah, these are fine. Okay. Now let's see how old these olives are. These may be really old olives. Well, these were last year's olives, so yeah, they're gonna go out. So fortunately, I bought new olives. And if you have toothpicks, which I do, I have colorful toothpicks, you can just put however many toothpicks as you want. I like 2 olives in my gimlet. And just mix that together, and I'm going to say cheers to you. I'm going to wait for my pies are done. I'm going to bid you a good night now because they're fully cooked. They don't look the best, but they will get fully cooked. They're going to cool on the countertop, and then tomorrow I'm going to serve them with ready whip topping and a good coffee. So I'll see you on the next Cooking with Joel video.